to Wasatch Weekends. I'm your host, Ben Roof, and I hope you're having a beautiful Sunday morning on this gorgeous weekend. We've got a great show in store for you today where we will be talking to Nuzzles Co about their Fuzzy Friend of the Week, and then we'll be checking in with Kimberly as she heads over to the new Sun and Ski location in Murray, and we'll also be checking in with Caught in the Act. But first, a little bit of local news. Park Silly Sunday Market is today on Main Street at 10 a.m., running all the way until 5 p.m. It's a fantastic event full of local artisans, local foods, produce, and live music. So if you're looking for something to do today, make sure to go check out the Park Silly Sunday Market. Now let's take a quick look at today's weather.
This weather report is brought to you by Sun and Ski Sports, your new mountain sports headquarters.
Welcome back to the show. A little bit earlier this week, I got the chance to check in with Josh over at Nuzzles Co about who he has up for adoption this week. Let's go take a look. Welcome back to Wasatch Weekends. We are now joined by our friends over at Nuzzles Co. Welcome to the show, Josh.
Thanks for having us.
And who's your friend here with you?
What's over here? This is Ludo. Ludo's a hound mix. He's been with us for a couple of months. He came to us from Summit County Animal Control. He's a big sweetheart. He rides in the car really well. He's very lovable. He knows how to sit and shake, and he can catch treats in the air. Very majestic dog, very pretty dog. But he has a very strong prey drive, so he definitely can't be in a home with cats or chickens or anything like that.
You a little bit of a chaser.
He's a hunter. He would do well working with a hunter.
I would imagine so. So how did you guys come into contact with Ludo? How did he end up with Nuzzles Co?
So a good I think last year 40% of our animals came from the res, and the other 60% came from Draper, Heber, Summit County. And we work with different shelters, the municipal shelters, to pull the dogs that are most at risk, the cats that are most at risk of euthanasia. So that's how he came to us. Is he was at a time at the shelter, and we look at that and we pull those dogs.
So tell me a little bit about the distinction between an organization like Nuzzles Co and the municipal shelters and the like government-run animal control programs and stuff.
So a municipal shelter, oftentimes called a kill shelter, is really more aptly described as an open admission shelter. They pretty much take any animal that's brought to them. So they don't have the luxury of saying like we're full or no. That being said, when they run out of room, that's when dogs get put on the list, cats put on the list for euthanasia. Nuzzles Co is a private organization, so we would be called like a limited admission shelter. We can actually choose to not admit any more animals when we're full, and therefore we don't have to put any time limits on any of the animals, so they get to stay with us until they find their home.
I would imagine that's one of the bigger challenges for an animal care organization is having the space to take everybody who comes and to make sure everybody gets the care that they need. How do you guys kind of handle making sure that everybody who's staying at Nuzzles Co is getting all the care that they need and determining kind of that list and who you're going to take? And is there like a criteria that you have?
those are all great questions.
Sorry, yeah, I feel
It's
like three at you kind of all at the same time. Sorry
I
about
mean,
it.
it's quite the little dance to try to figure out who we're going to bring in, what's going on at other shelters around Utah, even at the res. And we do have the partners calling us. So like Summit County Animal Control give us a ring and just say, hey, do you have any spots open? We have so many dogs that are like running out of time or so many cats, and we have to make decisions based on space. The other option for us too is to look at foster situations. So we do have a fair amount of animals that aren't here at the ranch. They're in a foster home, and some of those stay there until they get adopted, or some of them kind of go to the foster home for a little while and then end up coming back to us, so they can get a little more visibility at the ranch or the adoption center.
That's how I ended up with my dog. Was I fostered like 3 month old lab puppy with the intent to not have a dog. And now I've happily been a dog owner for 6 years.
Fostering is kind of like being an uncle. Like you get to spoil the animal and then give it back when you're like, oh, I don't have to do this forever. But there is the term foster fail, and that's for when the foster falls in love with an animal and goes, I just can't imagine living the rest of my life without this animal, and they end up becoming an adopter.
Yeah, so I went with the intent to foster, and I think I'd signed the adoption paperwork before I left that first day.
Yeah, I mean, I say this over and over. All you got to do is look into the eyes of these animals, and that it's almost the gratitude you see and the love that they're prepared to give. They oftentimes come from not the best situation when they get to us, and getting them into a home and showing them what like life as a dog with humans is pretty cool.
Well, and it definitely seems to me like they're grateful, when they find that home, when they get that space and they get the love from the family, they definitely seem to return all of that.
Yeah, I think on our website it says something to the effect of like the love from these animals is returned 100-fold. And I certainly have experienced that with the two res dogs that I've adopted. And even the amount of time I've spent with Ludo, like whenever I run errands, especially like Home Depot, I throw him in the car with me and he puts his head out the window and he's like, it's great advertising. It's a good chance for him to meet people, potentially get adopted. But like he's bonded with us, and I'll be sad the day that he gets adopted, but I'll also be very, very happy.
Yeah, I was watching a video on social media recently of a pit bull that got adopted after being with I think he was at the care shelter for, I want to say 5 months, maybe even longer than that. But he was there for, quite a while in dog life, and was, it was, they threw a little party for him when he left. And you could see in the eyes of all of the people who've been caring for him that, they were going to miss him. But he definitely seemed happy to have a permanent new home. So
Yeah, I feel like we go to great lengths to kind of learn these dogs, figure out what kind of behavior they have. Like in Ludo's case, we know for a fact he's not good with cats because he's gone after some cats here at the ranch. And learning about the animals, you bond with the animals. You're the guy who's feeding them or the woman who's feeding them, taking them out on walks, making sure they have lots of attention, and just kind of providing all those things to the best of our ability, that would kind of stimulate being in a home. Up here in my office, I bring the dogs like a dog when I have a chance, and if I'm in my office for a long time, and then they get to experience some different sights and sounds and smells, and try to get them ready for real world. Thanks, bud.
Well, so do you guys have any events coming up anytime soon, or any opportunities where you guys are out in the public for people to come adopt?
Every Sunday we'll be at Park Silly from 10 to noon. And then this Saturday, there's this like a super adoption event at the fairgrounds in Salt Lake City. So they have all sorts of dog related activities. And we'll have a fair amount of dogs down there for adoption. And I think there's a couple other organizations too. Lots of people selling stuff related to dogs, training activities, other things like that. So it'll be a pretty huge thing. 12 to 7 fairgrounds, Salt Lake City. And then you can see us every day, every Sunday at Park Silly.
Well, it sounds like that's going to be a great opportunity for people to maybe make some new friends, or for their furry friends to make some new friends and have some fun. Josh from Nuzzles Co, thank you so much for joining us. And you and Ludo have a great rest of your day.
We'll do that. Thanks for having us, and I'll see you next week.
Of course. See you next week. And
All
thank
right.
you so much for joining us for this edition of Wasatch Weekends. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Wasatch Weekends. A little bit earlier, we were able to check in with Caught in the Act to see what they've got going on. So let's take a look right now.
Such an honor to speak with you. You're so great on this show. You're so compassionate. You're a great listener. Tell us again, what led you to say, yes, I really want to do this show?
Well, Caught in the Act Unfaithful, that when the network presented it to me, it was all about helping people navigate infidelity in their relationships. And for me, who had experienced that, I I wished I had had an outlet that I
Mm-hmm.
could either look at or someone that I could speak with that could help me maneuver the emotions, the feelings, the understanding the lack of commitment that was in my relationship. And so I felt like I think I'd be the perfect person because that was
Sure.
2001, when I got
Mm-hmm.
divorced from my ex-husband, and I've figured out a way to heal from the things that I had gone through, have a clear understanding of what that relationship was and what I was looking for. And I feel like I can be someone to impart some of my wisdom of having gone through the experience myself to help them navigate their situations.
Absolutely. And now a new season, new network. Tell us what it's
Yes.
like to be renewed for season 2 and now to be on MTV.
Well, to get that season 2 order, and we
Right,
actually got it before we aired season 1.
right.
That's I've heard is unprecedented in the building that I'm in, and so I was very excited about that. It showed me that they believed in the show. It showed me that they believed in me. And what we're really trying to do with the show is not just about following people and giving you high drama. You get that,
Mhm.
right? We understand that. But it's also about being able to offer the viewers something from this experience, taking home new terms, learning new terminology that may be applicable in their relationships. You also get a bit of psychology from our relationship experts. And all of that was important to me. And being at MTV brings it home for me. It's a full circle moment.
Absolutely.
1993, I walked into MTV and was on the real world. You know what I mean? So for me, it
Sure.
just feels like coming home and doing something I love to do with a network I love to do, and hopefully the people I love to be with, and hopefully the people love it.
Absolutely. I feel like in the end credits, they should have a Venmo account for people who watch this to be able to send you therapy money and all the other people who are working on the show.
who are working on the show. Yes, because it is a wild ride. I am one of those people who absorbs energy, so for
Hmm.
me
Sure.
to see these women and or men going through these challenging moments in their relationship, I want to help them. I want to make it right. I want, everything about their lives to be perfect. And so to help them navigate that, sometimes it's challenging, but we get through it because that's what we're there to do. That's what we signed up to do.
Right. And to be clear to the audience, a lot of these couples, this is actually it's a turning point for every couple during this time, but sometimes it goes in the direction where they're able to heal and get back together.
Yes.
So it's not always like the you, and you type of thing.
No, and that's the beauty of the show, right? Is that my job on this show is not to tell them which way they should go. What
Hmm.
I'm there to do is to provide them the truth about their relationship, give them an opportunity to sit down and talk to the other person if they want to do so, and then they're able to reach a proper decision about which way they want to go in their relationship. And all I have to do is say, at this point, do the work. If you want to
Right.
stay, do the work. If you don't want to stay, you still have to do the work because you've just gone through something very traumatic. All of it involves you taking accountability, you being present for your situation, and you learning how to move forward or move on.
Absolutely. There are certain triggers people have in a relationship. If there's a couple and MTV's on, the show comes on, and the spouse says, "No, I don't want to watch it. I'm going to go to my room." Is that a potential? I should look into that.
Well, here's the thing. Your intuition is the most valuable asset that you have. The only thing you have to be sure of is that you have discernment within your intuition. Because all of us have baggage, right? We've gone through experiences, certain things stick out to us. We have to learn how to manage our triggers, know who our mate is in their entirety, analyze your relationship. If someone doesn't want to watch this show with you, maybe it's because they don't want to watch this show. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's something going on. And that's where you have to know your mate. But hopefully people will sit down and watch it together, because I think they are going to take away some real gems. We've got some relationship experts on the show, Coach Ken Canyon, DJ Envy, and they really offer some insight into certain situations and certain interpersonal dynamics that I think will be valuable to people who are watching.
Absolutely. You say you love great energy. You have great energy. Really a blessing to speak with you today. Thanks for all you do. So much joy to watch you. Take care.
Thank you so much. All right. Bye.
This weather report is brought to you by Sun & Ski Sports, your new mountain sports headquarters.
Welcome back to Wasatch Weekends. As we all know, footwear is incredibly important for just about every one of our mountain outdoor activities. So Kimberly went over to the new Sun & Ski location in Murray to check out what footwear they have available.
It's a beautiful day here in Murray, Utah, and I am at the brand new Sun & Ski Sports location with footwear coordinator Spencer to talk about all of their incredible inventory. Spencer, how are you today?
Great, thank you.
Awesome. Well, we've got an incredible display in front of us.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about all of the inventory that you have here. Let's say if you are a beginner runner or want a good walking shoe, tell us a little bit more about everything you have.
So we've got the women's and the men's Clifton, and this is a great entry-level shoe for walking, light running. It's very cushiony, very comfortable, great tread. Great for just standing all day on your feet.
Wonderful. Would you recommend the shoe? And this is the Hoka Clifton.
Yes.
Would you recommend it for running if you're a beginner runner, especially as we head into those warmer months?
Yeah, immediately comfortable from the get-go, and it's got great cushion just for standing on your feet all day.
Awesome. So if you wanted to up your game a little bit, you're a bit of a more advanced runner, what shoe would you recommend? The
newest model of the Cloud brand that has the most cushion out of all of the shoes. The Cloud, the bigger the little clouds are on them, the more cushion you're gonna get. And they are just, yes, of course. They are super light, super comfortable, and they are a little bit more aggressive of a sole, a little bit more of a downturn than the Clifton.
Okay, great. And tell me again what these are. These are the Cloud Monsters?
These are the Cloud Monsters.
The On Cloud Monsters. So if we are moving out and we are in the mountains here, you're going to be doing road running and trail running. What shoe would you recommend for the trail running?
Absolutely. So this is the Speed Goat, and the Speed Goat is going to be a little bit more techy than the Clifton. However, the design is going to be using Gore-Tex, so for when you're running in wet grass or a little light stream, this is going to keep the water out and allow all of the heat that you're generating to evaporate through. They have a Vibram sole, which is a little bit more aggressive than the other ones, almost like a cleat tread to the bottom, and the density of the Vibram is just a lot more firm, gonna last a lot longer, and help you grip on the trail.
Awesome. You mind if I see it?
Absolutely.
That's a really, it looks like a soccer cleat.
Totally.
It really does. Yeah, and then you can see you've got that nice thick cushioning and sole support.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. I know that we've got the trail running shoe for the more advanced runner.
Right.
We've got a everyday running shoe here by On, and then we've got the beginning walking shoe, great for nurses by Hoka. Now, what do we have over here on this side of the table?
So we have got one of my favorite shoes, and it is going to be a hiker that is finally good looking. I feel like a lot of hiking shoes have been kind of goofy for a really long time, and they've started to innovate and make things lighter, more comfortable, and just a better all-around shoe for hiking. And then with this shoe, I really like there's a quick draw, so there's no lace that's gonna keep untying as you're hiking. You can just cinch it up and then tuck it underneath, and then you're ready to go.
So, and it stays tight the entire time that you're hiking.
Exactly,
Yeah, that's
exactly.
great. Now, you mentioned it's lighter. Do you mind if I see it?
Absolutely.
Wow, that is so much lighter than the hiking
So
boots that I
much.
currently have, and I love the style. Feels like it'll be a lot more cool for your feet as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And you've got them in both men and women's?
Men's.
Awesome.
The men's is in black, the women's in pink. Yeah, it's just a great all-around shoe. Great toe protection, and just like the other Ons, kind of the more you wear them, the softer these little ridges get, and just the more comfortable they get over time.
Awesome. Well, I love to see diversity in shoes, especially from a shoe that is known as a running sneaker.
Absolutely.
And now they've got the hiking.
Now they are in
That's
hiking.
wonderful. So as a footwear coordinator, Spencer,
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about what you do here.
Yeah, so here I am the footwear coordinator, like you said, and I'm just kind of in charge of making sure we're getting the best shoes possible for each individual running, hiking, trail, trying to find the best shoes from all of the brands that we do carry, and just hone in on the best options.
So for me, I'm in the market for a new shoe. What would you do,
Perfect.
or how would you recommend what kind of shoe for me to try?
So we have this really awesome machine called the Atrix machine, and what it does is it measures 16 points of your foot, giving you all of these metrics that help hone in on the perfect shoe for your specific foot.
Okay, great. Well, it sounds like I know what I'm going to be doing next time I come in for
Absolutely.
a shoe shopping. Come on down to Sun & Ski Sports. They have so much selection and so much inventory here in Sun & Ski Sports, 6262 South State Street in Murray. Stay adventurous, Salt Lake City with Sun & Ski Sports.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this edition of Wasatch Weekends. I'm your host, Ben Roof, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.